Detective Chief Inspector Alan Johnson and Sergeant Andrews found Agnes where she'd said she would be, near the tall bushes where she had located the body. While they were talking on the phone, Alan had suggested she might like to move some distance away from the scene until they arrived, saying it might be too upsetting for her. But she had refused, telling him that some unsuspecting children might run into the bushes for a ball and come across that poor person lying there. Seeing something like that could scar them for life. Once Alan took a look at the body, he could see her point. The face and hands were very badly mutilated. Making sure he didn't contaminate anything, he leaned over the body to take a closer look. However, it was difficult to determine whether the cuts had been done by the murderer or the crows and other birds still fluttering overhead. "What do you think, Sergeant?" Andrew shook his head. "That's something for the pathologist to figure out. But someone was certainly trying to hide the identity of the body. Look at the fingertips." Alan took another look and saw that even the tips of the fingers had been burned away. "I could have one of the officers take you back to the hotel," Alan suggested when he returned to where Agnes was waiting. He could see that she looked quite pale and her hands were trembling. He placed an arm around her shoulder and glanced towards the entrance just as 2 police cars turned in, followed by the pathologist's van. "You've already had a long day, and now this," Alan continued, gesturing towards where the body lay. "Besides, it's starting to get colder." Even as he spoke, Alan knew he was on a losing wicket. He had learned on her last visit that she was not one to step aside when there was a police inquiry. "No, I'm fine," Agnes insisted, though she was still trembling. "I'm not tired, and I'm not cold. You can see I'm wearing a thick coat and scarf." She gestured to the heavy camel-coloured coat she was wearing. Even though she was still in shock at finding the body lying behind the bush, there was no way she was going to allow herself to be bundled off. "Anyway, I found the body, therefore I'm a witness," she added defiantly. Andrews, who had been listening to the conversation, gave a hint of a smile as he raised his eyebrows. However, he remained silent. "She's right," Alan said, picking up on his sergeant's amusement. "Mrs. Lockwood is a witness as she found the body." "Yes, I agree," the sergeant replied. "You do?" Alan sounded surprised. "That's not like you. Why do you agree?" "It's easier." Andrews grinned at his boss. "You guys know I'm standing right next to you, don't you?" Agnes chirped. She sounded a little more like her old self. Alan coughed. "Okay, but please stand clear when Dr. Nichols, the pathologist, and the forensic team begin checking the body." He paused. "Did you touch anything before or since you phoned me?" "Are you crazy, Alan?" Agnes retorted. "Of course not. I know better than to tamper with a crime scene. I took one look in the bushes, and when I saw the body, I backed off. Wouldn't anyone have backed away when they saw that?" She pointed towards the spot where the body lay. Okay. Alan held up his hands. "But I had to ask. Anything you might have come in contact with, we'll need to eliminate from our inquiries." Agnes heaved a sigh. "I know." She thought for a moment.